Yes, digestion. Digestion. Digestion is the physical and the chemical breakdown of food into simpler substances that can be taken into the bloodstream. Digestion is breaking down food, the complex food, into simple, soluble substances that can be taken into the bloodstream. So, for instance, when you take ugali, githeri, or whichever, it can get into the bloodstream in its solid state. So something must happen, something must take place to reduce it into simpler, not only simpler, and also soluble, so that it dissolves and get into the bloodstream, be transported to cells where they are needed. So I'll handle digestion of food along the alimentary canal. Alimentary canal is this pipe running from the mouth down to the anus. That is alimentary canal. So let's start with digestion in the mouth. Digestion in the mouth. In the mouth, food is uh, mechanically broken down by the teeth, a process known as mastication. Food is chewed, that is physical breakdown of food by the teeth. In the mouth, there is also saliva that is produced in three glands: parotid gland, sublingual gland, and submandibular. Have you ever wondered where your mouth is never dry, it is ever full of saliva? Uh, where does it come from? So, in our law, below the jaws, below the jaws here, we have this a gland known as submandibular gland. Just in front of our ears here, we have parotid gland. Now, have you ever, when you bite an orange or a sour fruit, you feel like some fluids are flowing what's inside? That is from parotid gland. And then you have sublingual gland under the tongue. That is where saliva is produced and enzymes are found in that saliva. So in the mouth, when food is broken down by the teeth, it is mixed with saliva. The food is moistened. Okay. In this, in the mouth again, there is digestion starts there, but digestion of what? Digestion of starch, the carbohydrate starch, is broken down from starch to maltose by an enzyme called salivary amylase or ptyalin. If you recall the previous video on enzymes, you can revisit that. So in saliva, we have an enzyme salivary amylase. This amylase breaks down starch. Another name for starch is amylose. So it's break down starch to maltose. The food is then rolled by the tongue to form balls called boluses. These boluses are now swallowed one after another one through a process called peristalsis. Peristalsis. Through a process called peristalsis. Peristalsis is a wave of muscle contraction. If you swallow, or if you've seen somebody, observe someone swallowing, you see some kind of movement, a wave. So that wave of muscle contraction is called uh, peristalsis. It is responsible for swallowing of food. So that is all about digestion in the mouth, mastication, food broken down into small pieces, just to increase the surface area, so that enzymes can act better on it. It has saliva. When food is swallowed, it goes to the stomach. The stomach is carved this way. So the upper part here in the stomach, the entrance to the stomach is controlled by a muscle. It's a muscle that controls the opening to allow food to drop into the stomach. It is called cardiac sphincter, a muscle that controls. It's called cardiac sphincter. Food gets into the boluses, gets in the stomach. Just arrival of food in the stomach, stimulate the stomach walls to secrete hormone. It secretes a hormone called gastrin. Gastrin hormone stimulates the glands in the stomach to release gastric juice. So gastrin hormone stimulates the gastric gland to secrete gastric juice. In gastric juice contains enzymes. Which are these enzymes? Two enzymes, important enzymes, pepsin and renin. It also contains mucus and hydrochloric acid. 4 items: mucus, HCl, that is hydrochloric acid, pepsin and renin enzymes found in that gastric juice. So this hydrochloric acid is very important. Hydrochloric acid provide an acidic medium for functioning of the enzymes mentioned, pepsin and renin. Those enzymes work best in acidic medium. If you recall, again, another study, another video on enzymes, we learned that enzymes are some work best in acidic medium, some work best in alkaline medium. So pepsin and renin work best in acidic medium. So HCl provide a good environment. Mouth was alkaline. So as it reaches the stomach, where pepsin and renin work best in acidic medium, we need an acid, and that's why we have hydrochloric acid there. And it also breaks down or destroy any harmful microorganisms that could have been taken in together with the food. The two enzymes, pepsin and renin, are not secreted in that form, pepsin and renin. Rather, they are produced in a form which, in their inactive forms, prorenin and pepsinogen. Prorenin and pepsinogen. Prorenin and pepsinogen are inactive forms. Why are they released in a form that is not active? And then who will activate them? Remember, alimentary canal, the entire wall of alimentary canal is made of body tissues. It is simply meat. Simply meat. When you take meat, you take for instance, meat. It's a protein that need to be digested. Who will tell the enzymes that digest the meat that has just been swallowed, but don't touch the wall? Because there will be no difference. Both of them are meat. So, if those enzymes were not being produced or secreted in an inactive form, as soon as they are released, they will digest the wall of the intestines, alimentary canal, or even the cells that secrete them. So to protect the body against self-digestion or auto-digestion, so that the body does not digest itself, these enzymes are produced in a form that they are not active, so that they only become active in the presence of food. When food arrives in the stomach, it secretes, it stimulates secretion of gastrin hormone to stimulate gastric glands to release gastric juice, which now has these enzymes in their inactive form. So when food arrives in the stomach, then the same hydrochloric acid, which was providing a nice medium, acidic medium, also stimulates pepsinogen to pepsin, or activates pepsinogen to pepsin. Also, it activates prorenin, the inactive form, to renin, the active form. What are the roles of these two enzymes? Let me start with renin. Renin is a special enzyme that breaks down a protein in milk. When you take milk, digestion of milk is very, very hard. Digestion of milk is hard. There is a special enzyme just for digesting milk proteins. The proteins in milk, a soluble protein known as caseinogen. So renin is there to digest caseinogen in milk to casein, or a process we normally call it curdling, C-U-R-D, curdling. It look like it coagulates, it makes the soluble protein to be like insoluble. That's why when you ferment milk, it become more solid. Why? The soluble protein caseinogen has turned into casein as solid state. In that state, it is now possible for another enzyme, pepsin, to now break it down to peptides. So renin is like assisting pepsin. Without renin, pepsin will not be in a position to break down this caseinogen to casein. So renin breaks caseinogen to casein. Then when it is in the casein state, the enzyme pepsin breaks it down now to peptides. Hope you have gotten it. I've talked about hydrochloric acid and the two enzymes. Mucus is there to protect the wall against digestion by these enzymes, so that doesn't. If it is digested, that's where some people complain of ulcers, the ulcerations, where mucus are been lost. It no longer protects the wall. Then the body, someone suffers from ulcers. Okay, so uh, next time we'll continue to duodenum and the small intestines. So for today we have handled two parts. Let me summarize. That is in the mouth and in the stomach. Digestion in the mouth is simply physical breakdown of food by the teeth, and then the digestion of starch to maltose by which enzyme? Salivary amylase or ghrelin break down starch to maltose, and then food is mixed with saliva. There is formation of molasses. Then molasses are swallowed one after the other one through a process called peristalsis. Process called peristalsis. Those molasses are swallowed. As it gets to the stomach, there is an opening. What is the name of the opening? A sphincter. It is called cardiac sphincter. Cardiac sphincter. Know that. I'll talk about when food is leaving the stomach to duodenum later. So cardiac sphincter. Another thing I didn't mention is that when food reaches the stomach walls, the muscles in the stomach contract and relax, mixing the food. A process called churning. When food has been mixed, it is no longer food in parts. Like you've taken githeri and you have maize and beans. It is mixed to form a substance called chyme, some or chyme, CHYME. So they mixed your food. Thank you. We shall continue the process.